What's up, everybody? And in today's video, we're going to be reviewing the Rivarossi Allegheny 2024 edition with DCC and sound. Today's video, we're going to be looking into details of the engine, and we'll play a little bit of functions on it, and we'll look into more of the engine. And this is the Rivarossi Allegheny, the newer version from 2024, which it was when it was released. And I have it right here, a newer one, and we're going to get into the review. So let's further ado, let's get in. So before we get into the review of the engine, I'd just like to point out something real quick. So if you may have watched some of my videos or seen some of my videos, you may see one of them that I did review over Rossi Allegheny back then last year or 2024, I don't remember, but I did a review on it, but it was 1601. This one is the newer one, 1653. Now, what happened to that engine? Well, there's a lot of things that happened to it, unfortunately. That engine is not here anymore. So here's the actual truth what happened. So when I bought the engine, it was a great runner, and I was running for months. It was a great runner. And I used to have my layout on the floor. If you've seen some of my videos before, like in 2025 being middle or before, I used to have the layout on the floor under my bed. And what happened was that when I was running the locomotive, I had some clothes on my bed, and it would fall to the layout and get on the tracks. And when I was running my Allegheny, it got caught up like a pair of sock that I had on the bed, and I guess it fell down somehow on the track, and I didn't know. And when I was trying to remove it carefully, it actually snapped off the gears because it kind of got stuck on the gears, the valve gears. And I was very sad and disappointed that it happened to it. And I tried to figure out how to put it back in, but I wasn't able to. So I decided to go send it to someone to help me fix it, and they unfortunately couldn't fix it for me, and told me that he couldn't fix the gears, and it was missing some parts, and there's no way I can get it another part for it since it's a newer modern engine. So what happened is that here's the truth about my GS4. Now, what could my GS4 be do with this? Well, this is actually how I got the GS4. So what the dude I was with is repairing my trains, he was repairing my Allegheny. He offered me to give me a newer one, but since he showed me how to GS4 of the Paragon 2, which is the GS4 I have, I was wondering if I can ask him if maybe he would like to trade that instead for another Allegheny, because I wanted that GS4 a lot more. And surprisingly, he accepted it. So he gave me that Broadway Limited GS4, the Paragon 2 version, for the Allegheny that he couldn't fix it. Because he wanted to give me profit since he couldn't fix it. And he just didn't want to leave me with a broken engine. So he just gave me he said he would want to buy me another Allegheny, but I was like, nah. I was like, you know what, instead, I was wondering if you can do the GS4 instead. He accepted it. And I have a GS4. But here's the thing. After that, I decided to get another Allegheny, which is right here. See, the 1653, I got a new one. I just ordered it and I bought a new one. And today we're going to do a new video on a newer Allegheny. This has no broken parts or anything. This is brand new. So now I have the Allegheny and the GS4. I decided to buy another Allegheny because I kind of missed it and I loved it a lot. And I was like, you know what, let's just buy another one. So I bought another Allegheny. But anyways, that's the truth behind the Allegheny and the GS4, my favorite engine, the SP4449. But anyways, let's get into the review of the engine, and let's move on. Alright, so what we're going to start with is looking at the details of the engine, and then we'll go through the functions, and then that'll be the video. So let's look at the front here first. As you can see, this is the front smoke box. You have this headlight right here with these numbers. Very nicely done, 1653. And if you look down here, you have the road number again, 1653. Nice cow catcher details, as you can see right here. And over here, this is like a dummy coupler, but in the box it actually comes with a spare coupler. So if you want to add a real coupler, a KD, you can replace that. You have these nice little ladders right here. You gotta be careful, they're very fragile. And then you have this little headlight. It is operation. And then these two these pumps, I guess, I'm not sure what they are, but they are pumps. If we look up here, we have the road number again, 1653. Lots of good details over here. You got another one right there. And then this bell, it does move. It's pretty stiff. It's not like it's loose. And then got a lot of other nice detailed parts, like this white lining right here. Looks pretty nice. Nicely touched, actually. And you gotta be careful with these little things right here. They're really fragile. And I remember my older Allegheny actually snapped off like instantly. So please be very cautious about that. Alright, so let's look at the side of the engine. There's actually a lot to see. As you can see, this is a huge locomotive. This is an articulated steam locomotive. If you don't know what that is, it means that the steam engine has 2 unit sets of wheels. This is a 2666. Two trailing trucks at the front, 6 driving, another 6 driving, and another 6 trailing trucks at the back. And it is a huge engine. It's not as big as a big boy, but anyways, but if you look over here, there's a lot of nicely handrails, other detail parts right here. Right here you have the Lima Locomotive Works plate right here. It's actually a decal, not like a detail part. You have these nice cylinders where the rods go in. Very nicely touched. And then more other details over here. These little pumps right there. And then if we look closely at the wheel, let me zoom in. Very nice metal rods. As you can see, this is the area where my older Allegheny broke. Yeah, that's what happened to it. Very nice valve gears. Looks pretty prototypical to the real one. Pretty nice. You gotta be careful with it because these little parts are very fragile and they can snap off. And if we look at the other, it's basically the same. And then if we look over, if I give you a closer view of the engine, you can see there's a lot more to see. Very nice detail parts added to the engine. Sand domes up here. And if we look at the back close to the cab, as you can see, we have these little more extra detail parts, which it is actual real to the real Alleghenies. Very nicely touched by Rivarossi. And other little fragile parts you gotta be very careful of. Let me just do a little slow video of the whole engine. Yeah, very, very impressive details from Rivarossi. They really went really well with these details, which I'm impressed with. This is like probably like one of the best detailing engines I probably have in my collection. But let's look into the others. Alright, so here's the back of the engine, the cab right here. So you can see there's other more detailed parts to look at. We have these 6 giant trailing trucks at the back. And then this very nicely yellow colored windows and the road number 1635. Nicely ladders added over here. And I think right here, yeah, the window does open and close, as you can see. I think you should be very careful with that. You know, it's fragile. And then this nice little white lining added over here to the end. Really nice touch. You can see all these nice little details over here. And then the number right here, 1653. And then this is the little ladders. And then here's the little right here, the tender. And overall, not a bad touch over here. All right, so let's look at the tender over here. As you can see, we have the nice, pretty large tender over here of the locomotive. As you can see, if we look closer, there's these little rivet dot details. And then the tidal railroad over here, Chesapeake and Ohio, very nicely touched. And then these metal trucks over here, little ladder details right here. And then another one right here. And up here is the coal load. It's plastic. It's not like real. And then you have these nice more extra details over here. These trucks are actually kind of unique because you may know, you can notice that this over here has more wheels than this. This has about 6 wheels and then 8 over here. That's actually kind of like a unique tender. Usually most would have like, both have the same amount of wheels, but this one has like 6 and then 8. And this is prototypical to the rear Alleghenies. They did have tenders like this, and it's very nicely touched and detailed. Overall, it's not a bad tender. All right, let's look at the back of the tender. As you can see over here, there's a bunch of details over here. We have this ladder over here, and then these nice little railings up here, even right here, and then this headlight over here, and then this coupler, which is a Katy coupler. It springs back, and this nice little ladder right here, little rivet dots. Pretty nice details on it. And the headlight, I'm pretty sure the headlight, from what I remember, I think it only turns on when the engine's in reverse mode. Usually this ladder over here and these other parts are just plastic, even with the coupler too. But there's not a bad touch over here with this yellow lettering of the gallons of water and the tons. And its road number is 1653. Very nicely touched. That's pretty much it for the back of the tender. All right, let's look at the top of the locomotive. As you can see, there's a lot of parts over here. As you can see, we have these sand domes right here. And then these little golden parts right here, the metal hand railings, little molded details. And over here we have the smokestack, and over here this gold part right here is a whistle. And in the front, this is the top of the front over here. Oh, my bad about that. And these nice more extra detail parts. If you look back here, we have this little window. Oh, yeah, yep, it does open. You can close it. It's pretty hard to close it. It's like stiff. There we go. And then got other detailed parts right here. Most of these are like some metal, some plastic. I'm not 100% sure. That is metal, and I'm pretty sure the others are just plastic and molded in. But it doesn't look that bad overall. It still looks very detailed in others. Unlike the others, this is like probably like the most detailed engine I have. And overall, the top does not look bad. Very good detailing from Rivarossi again. All right, let's look at the top of the tender. As you can see, this is the top of the tender. We have this over here, the coal load, which is a good amount of coal. It's actually plastic, not like real coal. And then over here on top, we have these little rivet dot details and others if you look closely. And then this little thing, this is where they actually put water into refill the tender. And I think they do open. Let me see. Oh yeah, they do. As you can see, they do open. All four of them do open. This is a nice touch from them. You can see all four of the little things do open. And you can close it back if you want. Let me just use my hand because it's pretty stiff. Yeah, you can just clicks and then open again. A pretty nice touch from Rivarossi again. And I thought it was just only these two that open, but the whole thing does open. Like the rest can open. And that's a really nice touch to it. Alright, so this is the other side of the locomotive. You can pretty much see it looks pretty much almost the same as the other. However, there could be some little areas that could be different from the other side, such as right here. This is a gold whistle over here. Maybe some little different detail parts. And there's another actual Lima Locomotive Works builder plate right there. Yeah, another one right there, just like the other side. But pretty much everything is the same, but except if we go right here. If we look right here at this area, this is the loco to tender connection. It's a plug-in connector from the locomotive to the tender. The tender has all the sounds and the speakers and everything. And to get the sounds, you gotta get this plug in and plug it in here, this little socket right here from the tender. And I don't find it really hard to put on, but like I would still recommend be very careful when trying to put it on, because you really don't want these wires to rip out. So I would still be a little cautious about it. It wasn't really that hard for me to put it on, but I'm just letting you know, just in case, because you don't want this to rip out. But it isn't that hard to put on. But that is pretty much it for the other side of the locomotive. Let's look at the other side of it. All right, let's look at the other side of the locomotive. So you can see there's these metal wheels and then these screws. There's some little screwdrivers over here if you want to open up and look at the gears. Over here there's like the these giant little round things. That's where the gear is at. It's usually on the middle driving wheel. And then over here the 6 trailing truck. Sorry for the blurriness, it's just the camera. But look over here, there's this electrical contact right there. So I'm assuming that does pick up some electricals from the track. And over here we have the 2 trailing truck over here, which is screwed. I think there's a spring. Yeah, there's a spring over there. And that's pretty much it for the underside of the locomotive. All right, let's look at the other side of the tender. As you can see, we have these metal wheels over here, some screwdrivers over here, some screws if you want to open up the wheels, and then these holes right here. This is for the speaker sounds to come out so you can hear the sounds. And then other details over here, and then the coupler box right here with the KD couplers. You can replace them if you want, but it's a pretty good coupler, I would say. And these metal details and others, metal parts, others. That's pretty much it for the other side of the tender. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, if you wonder how the drawbar works on this engine, so over here, this engine has this little hole drawbar over here, which is the holes right here. Basically, like every other HO locomotive, there's a pin, and you just put it in that hole on the drawbar, and it just connects like that. There's only one hole. I know there's some manufacturers that have like 2, but this one only has 1. and it's actually more realistic and way closer to the cab. So it looks a little more realistic and others. So that's how you connect the drawbar onto this locomotive. It's pretty simple and others. Alright, so that is it for the detailing of the locomotive. Overall, this is actually really good detailing. You can see Rivarossi did a really good job of the details and others. They didn't do like, like just molded everything. Everything is all like realistic and out and with metal and everything. Instead, like everything is plastic. Very nice touches on everything and metals and others. Not a bad locomotive. Very detailed and others, and actually more prototype to the real Alleghenies. And this model of the H-8 Chesapeake and Ohio Alleghenies is actually really pretty good, I would say. Pretty good detailing and others. And then this is the new run of it. This is the first time they run it since the other older ones with new road numbers and with sound equipped with ESU Luke sound, which is considered one of the most realistic H-8 decoder sounds. And we will look into that sound in a little bit. So overall, this is not a bad locomotive. This is a very, very nice detailed locomotive. And I love how everything is touched on the engine. Like everything is all put in together very nicely. Very detailed, it's very realistic too. Like this is probably like one of my most realistic steam locomotives I have in my collection. But overall, not a very bad locomotive. It's very highly recommended Allegheny. So without further ado, let's look into the sounds. Alright, now I got the locomotive on the layout, getting ready to play the sounds. So further, let's get into it. So let me put power on the track real quick. As you can see, no sounds are playing right now because there's actually a function for the startup. So for that, it's actually function 8, and then F0 for the headlight. So I'm gonna press F8 and then 0. So let's click 8. So you can hear the sounds playing. And if I click 0, start and turn on the headlight. As you can see, it's a pretty nice bright yellow light. Very nice. Nicely bright. It may not look very bright from the video, but it's actually a really bright light. But let's get through the functions. So in this engine, it is equipped with ESU sound. Has about 25 functions. We'll play all through that. Let's start with F1, which is the bell. That's a very good bell right there. Sounds really good. Alright, let's go at function 2, which is the whistle. Not a bad whistle. It's actually a really good whistle on it. If you place a little like this, you'll get a little quilling like that at the beginning. Sometimes you'll just get this or this, which is a little quilling right there. And at the end, you'll get a little echo at the end, like this. Yeah, you get that little echo effect at the end. But anyways, let's go to F3, which is coupler sounds. That's it being connected and disconnected. F4 is a coast mode. I'm not sure what that does. F5 is sound fader. From what I know is that it basically just makes it sound a little quieter. And then F6 is disable brakes wheel sound. I think we have to move the locomotive for that. Let me see. If you like slow down the locomotive on it, it'll play the brakes wheel sound, but F6 is to disable it, so let's see. Do a little run real quick. Let me click F6 again. That means it'll enable it. Maybe a little hard to hear because of the steam sound, but it did play it. But anyways, F7 is a shunting mode. I'm not sure what that does. Same with F8 is a drive sounds. I'm not sure what that does either. F9 is heavy load mode. Sounds like it makes it like more powerful. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what that does. I've never heard of that before. And then F10 is an independent brake, which I'm not sure actually. I'm not very familiar with these functions on this ESU look sound. Anyways, but F11 is coal shoveling. I think you have to click it again to stop it. F12 is the dimmer. Basically, pretty much dims the headlight. Alright, F13 is a curve sequel. I'm not sure what that does. I'm not really familiar with these functions. F14 is air pump variable speed. Pretty sure, like, I guess it kind of does something to air pumps. I'm not sure. And then slow spit. F15 is a slow spitter valve. Let me see what that is actually. I've never heard of that either. I think it's something that has to do with the locomotive when it's moving. I'm not sure, but anyways, F16 is a ejector. Let me play that real quick. If you can hear it right now. Let's click it again to stop it. F17 applies the brake or train brake release automatically. I think you have to move the locomotive for that one too. F18 is dumping ash. Let me play that real quick. May be a little hard to hear because the engine plays some of the functions itself, so it may be a little hard to hear some of it. This is dumping ash, F18. Oh shit, my bad. Alright, it's my bad on that one for moving the camera. F19 is blowdown. Let's play that. Most of them you have to click the function again to stop it. F20 is a safety valve. F20, actually, let me see about that one. Let me see about this one. Pretty sure that's what it does. F21 is a sanding valve. Let me see that. I'm not sure if that's the sound of it. I don't know if it's playing itself. I'm not sure. Oh, that's the actual sound. I guess I didn't click it, or it didn't catch it when I clicked on it on my controller. Alright, F22 is a dumping. Let me see about that one. Hold up. Alright, F23, that's my bad. I just wasn't turning off for some reason when I kept on clicking on the function. Anyways, F23 is apparently dynamo turbo generator off and on. I guess it just turns off or turn on the dynamo or the generator. Anyways, F24 is a stoker. It's stoker? Yeah, stoker. Let me play that real quick. It just played it. It's just really hard to hear. Like, I can barely hear it too. Alright, let's go to function 25. The last is a water refill. So let's play that. As always, you have to click it again to stop it. It is playing it. It's just really hard to hear because of the background noise. It keeps playing by itself. Even I can barely hear it too, like I said. Alright, well, overall that's not bad. We played all of the functions on the engine. We played all 25, and that is all the functions on the locomotive. Alright, so we're gonna do the locomotive's test speed. We're gonna see like how slow the locomotive can go, and I'm gonna let it pass through so you can see how slow and smooth this engine is. So I'm gonna try to do the slowest I can do, and then I'll crank up a little bit of the voltage to see how smooth and how good the runner of the locomotive is. So let's go through it. That is apparently the slowest I can do on my controller on speed step 1. It's not bad overall. I know there could be some that can go a little slower, but this is not bad overall. It's not terribly slow, but you know, it's not that bad overall. Crank up the voltage a little bit. I'm on 2. See how smooth this engine is. Those wheels are really nicely smooth. 4. So it's not very slow as you expected, but to me this is actually really good. 5. In the next part, I'm going to show the back of the engine so you can see the tender, and I'll do it in reverse. Alright, so I'm going to play the engine going backwards. Now, you may have noticed if you look on the inside of the cab, there's a little red flicker going on. That's actually supposed to be a firebox flicker color. So it's like a red little flicker, like a firebox, like the fire inside. So that's what it is, that little flicker you see on the cab. But anyways, so I'm going to play the engine in reverse. So when I put it in reverse, you can see that the backup light is turned on. That is only on when the engine is in reverse. But anyways, let's move the engine. Just love how it's so smooth. We should just look at that. That's gotta be like one of the smoothest operations I've ever seen on an H-8 locomotive. That was really nice. Everything was just like smooth and everything. It's just awesome, dude. But overall, this is not a bad performance. This is amazing performance, actually. But anyways. Alright, so what we're gonna do now is I'm gonna put the engine on mute so you can hear the engine on silent, so you can see how pretty quiet it is. Now this is actually pretty shockingly, I'll show you in a bit. But the motor is actually pretty noisy on this engine, even though this is a newer model. The motor is actually kind of noisy. It may be a little hard to hear on this video, but to me, I can like hear it. It's not super noisy where you can hear it through the sound, but like it's like very like you can actually hear the motor from the locomotive if you have it on silent. But with sound, you can't really hear it. So let me show you. So let me turn off the dynamo and the headlight. Go on fully mute. Sounds are turning off. And I'll show you the operations when it's on silent. So let me move the locomotive. Yeah, as you can see, you may be able to hear it, may not, but I can hear it clearly. You can hear the motor from the locomotive. Maybe it sounds like that when it's on slow speed, but maybe when it goes a little faster, it may not be very loud as how it is right now. I'm actually shocked that this engine has a pretty little noisy motor. But I'm not gonna complain about that. As long as I don't hear it through the sound. It's not like I'm gonna use this engine on silent every time. Yeah, this engine has like a pretty noisy motor. If you're like the type of dude that would want quiet and on silent, this may not be for you, because let me tell you, the motor is pretty noisy. But if you're like me that wants to hear the sounds, you won't be able to hear it. I literally can't hear the motor at all when the sounds are on, so you gotta worry about the motor. Just showing you the engine's operation when it's on mute or when there's no idling sounds playing. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So I wanted to show you real quick. Alright, so that's gonna be pretty much it for the video. I hope you all enjoyed the video and the review of the locomotive. I really love this locomotive, I would say. This is a very nice, very detailed, realistic Allegheny and H-8 scale by Rivarossi. It's one of their other next runs of the Allegheny since the older versions in that red box one. This is the newer one that was released 2 years ago with the ESU look sound, and this is an awesome locomotive, I would say. If you want a very detailed Allegheny with sound, the engine price is between $300 and $500, which to me that is a very worthly price, because this engine is worth your money for that price. Very nice realistic sounds, very good details, and pretty prototype to the real Alleghenies. So if you really want an Allegheny and H-8 scale with sound, I would recommend this locomotive. It's a very detailed, newer run of the Alleghenies from Rivarossi, and I would recommend this locomotive. If you really want an Allegheny and H-8 scale, go for this engine. But overall, this engine is not bad. I did review this engine a little while ago with the other one, which was 1601, the preserved one. For this one, I chose the not preserved one. Now, I don't have any several reasons why. I just decided to choose the different road number for it. Just get the 1653 one instead of the 1601. And no matter what, they're pretty much the same. Maybe 1601 may have a little more little differences than the other ones, like the 1632 or the 1653. Rivarossi only did like 3 road numbers. Right here, this is 1653. And then the 1601, the preserved one at the Railroad Museum. And then the other one is a 1632. This one is a 1653. But yeah, overall, this Rivarossi Allegheny is an awesome locomotive. Very realistic sounds, and I love this locomotive. This is exactly why I wanted this engine back. A very realistic, articulated steam locomotive. And if you really want this along an Allegheny and H-8 scale, I would recommend this locomotive. There are some that are DCC sound, DCC ready. This one's a DCC sound version. But overall, this engine is absolutely beautiful. And I'm absolutely in love with it. This is the reason why I got it back, and I just love it. But anyway, that's going to be it for the video today. I hope you all enjoyed it. It may not be the best review of the Allegheny, but at least this video would be like good enough to like, you know, show the best of the Allegheny, the best of the of this model. But anyway, that's going to be it for the video today. I hope you all enjoyed it. I'm pretty sure I did enjoy this video. I really loved revealing it, playing with the locomotive, and overall this is one of my favorite locomotives in my collection. So I hope this video kind of helped you, or like kind of show you the review of this locomotive, or help you decide if you really want one in HO scale, or if you want this model, if you want to purchase one. But anyways, that is going to be it for the video. I hope you all enjoyed this video. I will post more reviews. I'll look into more engines soon. But overall, that is going to be it for the video. Right now I'm going to do a little short video play of the Allegheny running through a railroad crossing on my way out with some freight, and that'll be the end of it. But overall, this engine was awesome. It was a beautiful, very nice, detailed Allegheny. But anyways, that's going to be it for the video today. I hope you all enjoyed it. See you guys next time.